Welcome back to This Week in Jump, Part 3.
Continuing with number 6, Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, Chapter 159. Inosuke zooms in with his vision to see, you're the number 2 rank High Moon.
Yeah.
I wasn't hiding it.
Yeah, and he's a little deterred from him just being so loud, I believe.
He shouts a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just his personality, very boisterous.
Mm-hmm.
So, he notices that Kanao has all these cuts, and he's like, oh, well, Shinobu is going to be very angry whenever she sees you all cut up like that. And then she just starts to frown, and it says it all in her face. It's like, is Shinobu dead? And Doma is just like, no, she's not. She lives inside of me forever.
All the people are still alive, the people that I've eaten. Like, You can't really see the expressions of a man with a mask, but the blink, the white background and the black background, okay, those help. Convey without facial expressions and without words. Oh, that's
Color
good writing. That's good composition, I should say.
So we have a brief flashback of when he was being stitched up by her, and just like, pinky promise, and this is the shot I chose, was the I'm gonna chew you up, you scum. I felt like that was I liked that. I liked the wavy lines around the face.
Yeah. Don't breathe the air. Like,
Jumps right in.
Slow you down.
And he starts attacking.
Using breath techniques. What'd you just say?
And he was actually able to get the sword back. But Doma didn't even notice that. He's like, oh, you're actually faster than I thought. Charges back in again. They start exchanging attacks. And Doma puts some distance between him and Inosuke. Inosuke begins to make like a slashing motion, like he's going to slash him, but they're a good distance apart, so he's like, that's
he's too far away. He's too far out. What is he planning? Like, see, you can't reach me.
And then his eyes are just cut.
Yeah, I was like, oh! Extending bendy slash. He dislocates his arm to get some extra range. Oh, that was great.
I was just like, that part was like, yeah, that's why I put it higher, because I was like, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that to that point. And it's like, I was aiming for your neck, but it doesn't matter. That's still really cool. He's like, oh, you put your joints back together. Doesn't that hurt? And he's like, I am Lord Inosuke. And then his mask is just taken off of him. Yeah. He doesn't even realize it at this point. And then they're both like, wait, what happened?
Yeah, I thought it was a mask. Like, so you can see through these eye holes. I feel like I remember your face. What's wrong with your face?
He's a very pretty boy.
Yeah.
That's just his face. That's why in one of the previous arcs, when he was dressing up as a girl, everybody was like, ooh. Yeah. Good chapter, quick, actiony, good stuff.
Ready.
Number 5, Act Age, Chapter 66. It would load. Loading! Louder! Akira and Chiyoko are working out. Well, she's stretching and he's bench pressing. And he asks her how he was able to convince his mom to let her work on the play that Amachi was doing.
Yeah, she essentially made deal with the devil kind of compromise. Like, either I risk everything and have a chance to be outshined by an up-and-coming, or I take that risk, beat her and everyone else, and shine on for several more years. If she fails, she's most likely only going to have a year or two left in popularity.
No, I was gonna say the way Akira's mother made it sound, Arisa made it sound, was that it was going to be like immediate. She would start losing prospects immediately after being outshined by Yonagi. What I was thinking that she wants to do, she had said that she wanted to become a better actress and burn brighter than Arisa did when she was in her prime and she was acting.
Yeah.
So I think that what she wants to do is catapult into adult roles and stay like constantly busy in that world.
Less of a high school student, high school idol, and more into maybe the gravure idols and the more serious adult roles of leading ladies.
Yeah, because there's a lot of actresses that have been busy throughout their careers and they're like in their later years and they're still in movies.
Like a young good actress, Hilary Duff, and then good adult actress is like Scarlett Johansson.
Scarlett Johansson, yeah, I enjoy her in movies.
Yeah.
So, she explained all of that, and then she's also seeing Akira off because he's going to be going away. And he also doesn't want to be outshined, and he's looking to grow as well.
But not necessarily with the same gumption as all the others.
Yeah, it definitely seems like Chiyoko's taking this more seriously. And Arisa's part of the deal was she'll let her do that, but she gets to pick the director for Chiyoko's team. And then we have a character who hasn't really been around very much.
Yeah.
Wrote her name down, and I don't remember it because she did not leave that much impression. Wakatsuki? Miss Wakatsuki. Who got the role from Yonagi whenever they were having the original test audition way back at the beginning of the series. And then she also had a role in Death Island, but she was outshined again.
Yeah.
And so she's on edge, and then Chiyoko just appears behind her. And she's like, Chiyoko, I thought you were already in here. And she's like, yeah, well, I wanted some time to come down. And then they enter the room together. I guess they're a little bit late.
And the director that was chosen
was, of course, Kuroyama.
Yeah. So I don't think he has I have to direct them, my actress's opponents. It's like I could just bomb this and then Yonagi would win essentially. But no, I don't see him doing that at all. I think he's going to be very serious and competing with the actress he's supposed to be, nurturing. I think we can see some funny stuff and some very serious discussions between them.
I love how bland he is right here. This is why this was the screen cap I got, was I'm Kuroyama, your director, somehow I got dragged into this project, so here I am.
Yeah.
That's how I read it. I was like, that's exactly the tone and expression that I would think he would give. Because he looks completely miserable. Why am I here? His face says, why am I here right now? Yeah. It's great. And apparently Wakatsuki had tried to look up old films that he had made, but they're very hard to track down. So she's kind of at a loss. It's like, everybody here is so top tier. And
Araya.
He asks Araya, how are we supposed to start these things off? Usually we do a read-through. So they start doing a read-through of the script. And then we're basically told the intro synopsis.
One of the stories of
Journey
to the West with Son Goku and this princess with the giant iron fan.
And that has to do with her philandering husband, the Ox King, and the tragic news of her son, Red Boy. And then on one fateful day, traveling towards Tenjuku, the Monkey King appears before her and asks her to lend him her most precious possession, the fan.
They
engages in a battle over it. Internal I was like, oh, okay. And then we have a slight time jump backwards, 3 hours. And this time Yonagi is reviewing the script. And then her siblings come in and say that they have a
Person here.
A guest.
Yeah.
Takemitsu.
The door was open, so I locked it. I'm like, jeez, he just let himself in here.
That's what a kid would say.
Yeah.
Minus the sheesh, probably. He'd probably say, he just let himself in here.
Which is both funny.
And he apparently seeked her out because he saw that she was on the list of the cast. But they've been keeping it pretty much under wraps as to who the leads were. While they were doing the auditions, anyway. And as such, they go out and they're walking together.
Yeah, like...
heading to the meeting room.
Yeah, with the play that they worked on together, just like, I need to take opportunities wherever they come, even if they're not the best. I need to take them up so that I can learn from them.
Well, he was in Death Island. He wasn't in the play.
Yeah. Well, from watching the play. Sorry.
Yeah, and well, he was saying that he wanted to be in Iwa's plays, but he passed before he could.
Yeah.
So when he learned about it, he was like, you know what? Yeah, opportunities. So yeah, what you said, but just slightly different.
Yes.
I was like, wait a minute. No, I didn't. Yes. Read that too fast the first time, too. I was like, no. And so they decided to go in. Like, what are we supposed to do? Ah, yes, we can read. We can do a read-through. The Death Island duo is here.
Like, what took you so long?
Shinjuku
girl.
He was too excited to sleep.
So he's been there since
last night. Ogami is such an odd character. He's very interesting with how odd he is.
I love his hair. Like, I just love it.
Is it 3 or is it 2 bangs that he has, like, come down like a very sharp... It's 3.
Yeah.
Looks like 3. Or maybe it's more.
I just love how he looks as a character design. I just love it.
He's very shark looking.
Yeah. I guess kind of like that, kind of threatening like that, with those 3 hair strands poking down, like maybe closer to like a lionfish, or sorry, rockfish. Is what they're called, rockfish or lionfish.
I think it's I know lionfish has like all those quills.
Yeah,
like, all over their
it's lionfish. Like you can look at me, don't touch me. Like, don't get too close, or
I'll mess you up.
I'll mess you up.
Next on my list is number 4. Food Wars.
No. I had this as my number 1 again.
I think you might know why. Okay.
I want to know
why I put it lower.
Why you put it lower? What do you really think is better than this? We've been waiting on this for so long. And it's a good payoff.
Okay. So, I'll say this. From 2 through 4, I could have placed them in any order. It wouldn't affect it that much. It's, again, a case of decimal points.
Yeah.
It's a good chapter. It's a really good chapter. It just had to deal with what I felt was the best one of all week, which we are getting to.
And that's why we're different people. We have slightly different opinions on things.
Yes. It wouldn't be fun if it was like completely identical.
Like, I agree. Yes. I also agree.
We would almost, at that point, we would literally be the aliens from Futurama that have no emotion. They're like, tell my wife I love her.
Yeah.
No. Tell my wife hello.
Hello.
Yeah. It's just like super indifferent.
Yeah.
Bland as.
Yeah. So, the bookmaster is trying the Yukihara's dish. It's very, with insult, asked for a throw-up bucket to come along with the dish.
And keeps eating more and more.
And she keeps eating it. She's keeping it down. And they still have Yukihara as the villain.
Yeah, the demon.
Yeah.
Demon King. And just uses his black magic spell. And then she's...
Like, this isn't a normal gifting. She is actually enjoying it.
but it's much stronger and much different than the one that Saiba made her experience. And now everybody in a certain proximity is having their clothes shredded.
Rather than just being blown off. It's literally shredding them to pieces.
So they say it's a combination of gifting and the bursting. That's what they say. And you probably see that because that's where the title cover is. So I was like, here we go. And everybody's kind of surprised. And they're like, oh, well, since this is better, then it must mean that she found it was delicious.
Yeah, it's also going further into the crowd than it was before. Like, huh, okay.
But my bestie was better.
Yeah.
It was perfect. But it didn't have a unique flavor that he could call his own. Because at that point, he basically borrowed the other chefs'
their personality,
abilities.
Their mark on culinary perfection is not his own.
Yeah. Whereas Yukihara made his own flavor that he could call his own. And so the difference is clear as day. And then she tells the judges to make their decision as well.
Yeah, and like Yukihara just in his mind just saying, you thought you were working hard to beat Joichiro? Like, my desire for that is so much stronger than yours.
And it's a unanimous 3-1.
Yeah,
3-0,
unanimous. Like, he was shut out.
Yeah.
After all this talking, after all of these people he's beaten, he was shut out. He didn't even have a chance there at the end.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, I loved it so much. He got shut out.
He
was
the shutout.
Immediately just demoralized.
The shutout, the 3-0, that's literally the image that's on screen right now. Yeah, liked it. Great. Fantastic. It's the ending.
Okay.
So, Saiba offers to give back the blade, and he's just... Yukihira's like, no, I don't really need it.
Like, I don't want it.
You challenged him fair and square and won it.
Yeah, that's yours. The only time that's really bad, like in previous chapters, where they had the guy that could mimic people and force them into shokugekis to ante up their cooking utensils.
Yeah, it wasn't under... There was no pressure to do it. He didn't have to do it. He did it of his own volition.
Yeah, that was more blackmailing than anything.
Yeah.
So he thought this one was different. Like, oh, it's like... Okay, small flashback with Joichiro and Saiba.
And it's because Narayuki... Jesus Christ. It's too late for me already.
Yeah.
Yukihara, so many Yukis, asks, why were you so adamant about marrying Irina? And that's when we start this flashback.
You cooking, you'll want to cook for someone else. Like, you want them to appreciate your cooking, so you better be really good at it.
So he's just like, no.
Like, I thought I wanted to just get better, but no, he wanted someone.
Your eyes look like you wanted something else.
Yeah, like, he wants a family.
He wants to belong.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere, and that's exemplified by the grayish images that we have of Saiba, Narayuki. Their names are too similar.
Yeah.
Yukihira, Narayuki. It's too similar. Soma. Soma and his mom, like, all of them together, the family 3 unit. And then you just have him by himself. And as he's passing Joichiro, he says, don't worry, you'll get what you want in time. And he's like, I don't know what you mean. And then he walks away and he's like, a flavor to call my own, cooking it's mine and mine alone. And then it's this ending here with saying, don't get the wrong impression.
Yeah. Like, huh? Like, what do you mean, you like my food? You even voted for me. Not even just against me. You voted for me.
What is she going to say? Irina's better because she has the divine tongue? Huh? Is that really what she's going to say?
No. Like... I hope she turns over a new leaf. And, like, you'll have to be able to beat my daughter before I call you stepson. Or it could be a picture of her, just vomiting into a bucket.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
It was good, but I got one piece of bad rice that was in there.
You burned one of the rice.
Like, either way, I could see it being super serious or just so on the jokey side for this. But she's tried to keep herself in a proper form, so I think that's why that's for her. It might not be so jokey.
Gotcha. Number 3, Chainsaw Man chapter 23.
I'm still scared that Chainsaw Man's going to might be axed soon. But this chapter just opens up so many more cans of worms.
There's not a lot of dialogue in this chapter, but a lot of the images speak for themselves. This is a case of what we were talking about earlier. I don't know if that was part 2 or part 1. Where we were talking about how you can say a lot through the images and you don't need a lot of dialogue. And it still gets the point across, and it still can be a really good chapter. It's still very memorable.
Yeah, so the team...
Power, Himino, Aki, and Denji are eating at a restaurant. And then you also have the other devil hunters that we've introduced from the party. And then you have the only other ones that I can remember their names are Kobina and Araya. And they're just showing an old woman directions on where to go on a map. And they show her, they walk away, and then she starts like pulling something out from like her coat pocket, and it's a gun.
Yeah.
And then all the people that the other devil hunters were helping also pull out guns. And then this shot, I could have picked this, but I picked the other image that will show up for a different reason.
Yeah. So
you see have the sound effects for the bangs.
Yeah, multiple gunshots going off almost simultaneously.
It's probably like the...
Yeah, it's like, oh, what's that noise? And like, that's the sound of taiko drums. Festival. It's like... oh, did you
Aki asked, did you not...
do stuff together? Like, oh no, Denji's actually quite a gentleman.
And then it focuses on a random guy who's eating there at the restaurant. But then he interjects and says that, how can you like this? This doesn't even taste good.
Yeah.
And Denji's like, tastes fine to me.
Power just, don't talk to me. Like, you know me.
Don't act so familiar. And he's like, oh, I see. You can't judge anything because as a kid, if you have the same thing over and over again, they say that you, as an adult, don't have a refined palate. And then he starts talking about his grandfather that was a Yakuza who was a necessary evil and everybody liked him. And he would always buy him whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And then he pulls out a photograph, and it's the old man.
Yeah, you loved him too, didn't you, Denji?
Yes. Who was lording over him the entire time with his debt.
Yeah. And also the one who turned himself into devil's food.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, that was the... Yeah. And he's like, what are you getting at? And then Aki's like, how do you know him? Guy pulls out a gun and says, the gun devil says it wants your heart. So the gun devil has sent all of these people to kill these devil hunters.
Yeah.
Like, and shoots him in the head. So that's what you see on the screen right now.
Yeah. Like, ah!
I was like, wait, what? And then he starts firing on everybody else. Power's the only one that can get to him and smack him in the face and knock him back. And then Aki brings out Kon, and that is also a really good panel, but it was too late. Yeah. I felt like
throwing caution to the wind, he releases Kon to destroy the building and make sure that guy is eaten.
Yes. And as the rubble's being flung back, Aki's finally able to look over and see Denji, and Denji's just laying there, presumed dead because he got a headshot.
Yeah.
And Himino is still alive,
But shot in the chest.
shot in the chest and bleeding. And Kon is like, you put something in my mouth, it's not human or devil, and then you see like a blade shoot through Kon's head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a sword man devil.
We've known the most disastrous of devils are ones made out of things, of carnage, chainsaws, guns, and now we have blades. And this was someone similar to Denji, where this is a person manifesting these powers.
Yes.
Whew, I thought this was going to be your number one. This was almost my number one. I just have so many more questions.
Yes.
And also I'm terrified to see if this is going to be...
Aki's pulling out his sword.
Yeah, the thing that
Shortens his life.
There's so much I am afraid and love about this.
I'm loving the design. It's so cool.
The design reminded me a lot of Full Metal Alchemist if they went a more devilish way.
Oh, you mean like the homunculi?
Yeah, with the homunculi, just like very similar to Wolverine, just releasing those things,
okay.
but in a more crazy sense.
Like an anime extreme.
Yeah.
Got it. Next on the list is Dr. Stone. So, yes, Dr. Stone. Amaryllis says that in the last chapter that she knows the secret behind the petrification beam.
Yeah. So we have a flashback to where
she learned this secret.
She learned the secret. She was going to go into the water and maybe leave or at least explore.
She's talked into going with her friends.
Yeah.
They kind of like bully her into it, and she's like, okay, fine, I'll go with you guys. But we have to be very cautious because there are the masters and then like his right hands that will... You know what the punishment is for going and making things you're not supposed to or leaving the island.
Uh-huh.
And they get, I guess, a little bit out from the island. They can still see the island based on the image there. You still see the shape of it, so it's not like they got too far out from land. Mm-hmm. But you have Mozu and Kurasame.
They have unique swirling eyebrows that are apart from their eyebrows. I think this is somewhat reminiscing the stone kind of like breaking that like Senku has for his eyebrows and for several other people. But this looks like a stylistic choice, not that they were broken out of petrification.
Yeah, it's almost like they had it tattooed, or that's just how their hair grows.
Yeah.
Get the curly eyebrows. And their sole job is to make sure that nobody runs away. Mm-hmm. And Mozu makes a comment that, oh, well, there's some real cuties on there. And it's like, that one in the back in particular. Mm-hmm. And in a few years, she could probably be selected for the harem. Mm-hmm. They make this assertion. And Kurosame takes a pouch out and then, I guess, puts it on the end of a string. Yeah. Puts something on the end of a string and then hurls it into the air.
It does not look like it impacts on anything, but the triggering mechanism might be distance, it might be air, it might be sunlight. But when it reacts to whatever the triggering mechanism is, it releases a eyeball into the sky.
I can't remember if this is the image I chose, honestly, because that was pretty good.
I don't know of another picture you could have chosen.
I think that was, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what's on the screen is the giant eyeball orb, which is the petrification. It can be used as like a small area attack.
Yeah, and this looks like this could easily be the Gorgon's gaze, Medusa's gaze, anything like that.
Yeah, reminiscent of it.
Yeah, but these
her friends are telling her that they're sorry, and her hair starts to be petrified as they're in front of her, so they've already been petrified because they're closer to the blast. So Kurosame already assumes that they've already been all petrified, and just before it spreads past her hair, she rips the part that's been petrified off and chucks it, and the blast stops just before it can get her.
Yeah. And one of the people that is drowning has a shield just like Soyuz.
Yeah, same village.
Also on the enemy's boats also has that same symbol of essentially like a rocket landing somewhere.
Yes. And so the ship capsizes because they had all of the weight on one side. Mm-hmm. And so she's able to swim away. And she's like, I know what the weapon is, and I know where to get it. So she's going to get it from the master and then be able to do all that because she'll be in the harem. That's her whole plan. Mm-hmm. But now that they know that there's a female fighter, that idea might not work. Because obviously Kurosame is probably in the area of the harem. Mm-hmm. So you have three major things. One, that it has an area of effect range. Yeah. The people who throw the weapon have to know about that, otherwise they could be petrified.
Yeah, they're not immune to it.
And that you can rip off the pieces that have been petrified to stop petrification.
Yeah, so that if there are rules, that means you can reproduce it. It's just another weapon. We might be able to make one of these ourselves.
Yes.
Like, Senku's looking in a very, very dark spot right now. Shifting his neutral meter very much towards evil in this case. But enough evil acts for the greater good. Can they still be deemed good, or are they still evil?
Well, think of it like this. If you could petrify people and keep them imprisoned, you don't have to feed them.
I would like to just petrify criminals and just smash them to bits.
Okay.
No redemption.
We already had a character who did that.
Oh yeah. He's in cryostasis.
Yeah, he is. Anyway, so she freaks out and is like, well, great, well, how are we going to get a female who can fight? Where are we going to find one of those? And they're all
like,
kind of, I wonder who that could be. And they all kind of
look
like turn
over, terrified. Like, oh yeah, I'll do it. It's like, huh? How are we going to make you act
all
like a girl?
All I need to do is look cute.
And like, yeah. Like, okay, we've got a science expert, a psychology expert, cosmetics expert, and then someone who's gonna be the bait, Soyuz, like the judge. And Koharu's just very animalistic, just like looking like a cat. It's like, huh? Also, not very refined. She's poking her ear with her, or like picking at her ear with her pinky. Like, need to make her into a fair maiden.
Or an iron maiden.
Yeah. It'd be really nice to see if Gin can be with Koharu. I think that would be a funny ship.
Oh, Kohaku?
Kohaku, yeah.
See, so many similar names.
Yeah, I get you. One Piece. One Piece. I forgot this was here.
You forgot this was here?
I didn't think it was gonna be this high. This was bottom for me. Near bottom.
No. One Piece chapter 900. I was going to say 100. We are like way past that. 943. 1943. This chapter has a lot of unpacking.
It's got a lot of dialogue and a lot of information to throw at us.
Yes. Including but not limited to
flashbacks.
So we're finally given a little bit of context as to why they were so distraught about Lord Yasui being killed. You see that when they were younger, Kinemon, Kanjuro, Raizo, Inarashi, Ashura Doji, Kawamatsu, Denjiro, yeah, they had apparently been caught for trying to
be
steal.
Bandits, yeah.
And Odin basically says, Yasui asks them, do you love Odin? They're like, of course. And I was like, okay, well then go ahead and better yourselves. Get some books. Like, they're going to need loyal...
Educate yourselves.
Yes.
And here's some extra money to go along with it. So you can have a new start. Like, he's going to be the shogun of Wano one day. He's going to need several people that he can rely on that love him to support him. For him, for the capital, and for the people of the land.
So that's why once he's... Then they flash back to the present, and he's on the ground, smiling, dead, and they're tearing up. And you still have the people laughing, and they're still confused as to why this is happening. Yeah. We know why. Zoro's just getting...
this.
Yes. It is grating on his nerves. He's like... This is Shogun Orochi's greatest sin. Yeah. It is. It's just... Getting to that.
Yeah.
So, you have Otoko crying, saying daddy and laughing, because she can't cry, but she's tearing up still, because you can still cry when you're laughing. Yeah. He plunges people into misery. It's just like, if this isn't hell, then what is?
Yeah.
And he's like, you mean the smile fruit did these things? The artificial fruits? And they're like, yes. Orochi's gloating over this. And Zoro's just getting more and more angry. Mm-hmm. His face says it all.
Yeah, Orochi is just saying...
My subjects are laughing at him in the afterlife. It's like, it's not exactly what that is.
Because he's forcing them to do so, because he's planted, smile fruit to do so.
But it's a little bit more messed up than that.
Yeah.
So, Kanjuro can't believe that he didn't recognize him earlier, and the Straw Hats are confused. Well, the other Straw Hats who weren't next to everybody else are like, why is everybody laughing? I thought everybody revered him. And then we cut back to the prison, very briefly, to see Luffy saying, nobody deserves to be laughed at when they're dying.
Yeah, but he's so fat.
He's so fat it's comical.
Yeah.
And Hayo actually tells him that he suspects that it's because of the smile fruits. Raizo says pretty much the same thing. Then we
go to Kaido,
and he's like, yeah, he's one sick snake of a man. He doesn't. He's pretty much indifferent. He's like, yeah, he's an awful person. I'm just gonna sit here and drink. Don't mind me. Brief reaction from Bakura Town. We've already seen that they were sad. And
older Orochi says that probably should have told you about the people earlier.
Oh yeah, Shinobu.
Yeah.
And it's like, those are actually masks that several years ago Kaido and Orochi began a new venture where they would trade weapons that they built in the country for a strange artificial fruit, the smile fruit. We already kind of knew that.
These were artificial devil fruits that very few people were to try this
and actually get the effects and the benefits.
Yes.
It's a 10% chance because they had a hidden risk. So while you would eat it, it had a certain downside for everybody who ate it and didn't get the benefit.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just, oh, you didn't get the power. No, you got a complete downside with it.
Yeah.
And now the manufacturing of it saying sad makes more sense.
Yeah.
So she breaks up Kaido's crew into different parts. You have the waiters, who are people who are going to get the smile fruit, the chance to get it. And then you have the gifters, who are the ones that were actually granted the powers and had the positive effects. And then you have the pleasures, who were unlucky and got nothing but eternal laughter.
Yeah.
And after learning of this, you have Caesar, Doflamingo, and Kaido deciding to call it the smile fruit. To mock the people.
To mock the failures.
Yes. And Orochi takes it one step further of being a scumbag, and this is why I was like, wow.
Like, oh, I'll take all of your extra fruits. It's like, why
all
extra
the ones
fruits?
But they were bit into. All the bitten into fruit.
Yeah, all these
Failures.
smile fruits, not necessarily failures. These could have been successes as well.
No, they said it was all the failures.
They
explicitly say it's the failures.
Failed smile fruits. Okay.
Yeah.
They bit into it once because that's all they needed to know for the abilities. Unlike most other devil fruit,
where you have to ingest all of it.
Yeah. So, I'm managing all this food and, all these cities that take in leftovers.
Leftover town.
I'll start putting these in there, sprinkle them in here and there so they seem more of a charity rather than something more diabolical.
Yes.
So he's feeding his people, forcing them into all becoming pleasures and failures so that he can control them.
So that way they're always
control
smiling,
their emotions.
and they can never be sad. It's like it took them a while to figure that out, that they had actually been... It was either that or starve.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you don't blame them for laughing. It was with that, I was like, that is just so wrong. It's like, well, I mean, you could either not, like, oh, I know that's going to be poisonous and I'm gonna have the downsides of it. It's either I eat that or I starve.
Yeah, so in which case,
I was like, wow, it's just...
you have to eat.
Yes. So, that life is better than dying. So, Otoko's finally made it inside through the barricade and is trying to help her father with some medicine.
Yeah.
He's dead. Sorry. He's dead.
He's
we know
been
that,
shot
but she's in...
several times.
She's just like, no, this can't be real. This is in
Finally
denial.
have something to help you out. Good medicine. Like, get away from there, you, like, brat.
Hiyori's saying that she needs to go because they'll recognize her. And Orochi says, get out of my way, and he also sees that she was the brat from before. This also explains why she just randomly started laughing back at the Capitol.
Why?
Remember the one who was... she was the one responsible for Komurasaki being killed? The Oran, the beautiful woman?
Yes.
Remember, Otoko was there at the Capitol.
Yes.
And then she started laughing randomly whenever Orochi was, like, freaking out. It's because Otoko had eaten the smile fruit. That's why she just randomly laughed. Because of that, she was the cause of Komurasaki being killed.
Yeah.
But if she didn't have the smile fruit, she wouldn't have died. Komurasaki wouldn't have died.
Gotcha.
That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah, thank you for lining that up for me.
And so, this is why Orochi is pissed and is going to kill her.
Yeah, you're the reason I can't have, a loving wife and essentially a good life.
Yeah.
But it was coming back from him if he never gave the smile fruits.
Correct.
He would have had that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so he has her in his sights and he shoots, but before the bullet can reach, I thought it was just going to be Zoro. No, Sanji jumps in too. And they're both like, what?
Yeah. They're both pissed off. Zoro, because people aren't allowed to grieve the passing of a loved one. Like, that's Zoro in a nutshell. With, the girl who he trained up with. And Sanji makes sense. It's like, you're using food for such a disgraceful act of manipulating a country. Like, okay, I can see why these two would want to do this. It's not just like, oh, this is, this team of counterparts. Like, no, they both have good reason to be here. I want Orochi to die this chapter. Or following chapter.
Yeah, so that's why I put it at number 1. Everything lining up, it was great.
Okay.
It was great.
It was good. It was
a very good chapter. Very good. Very good.
I just liked Food Wars, just making Saiba outright lose 3-0.
The shutout for that was
showing
nice.
that he didn't even have a chance after they tasted food was just my top. But yours was good as well.
So what was your number 2 then?
I can't remember. But
Yeah.
But that'll wrap up this week in Jump number 15.
See you next week.